right, Tristan? I swear, every single game seems to have some type of elevator section. This is this game's elevator section. Donk. And of course, Muffin enjoys it when I, God damn it. You can see why I like double jump now, just from its sheer versatility. Yeep. Okay. This part of the stage tends to be a bit finicky, because after a point, there is a floor with spikes, and it just kind of catches you by surprise if you're not careful. I never seem to remember where it is. So I usually end up having double jump chip just to help with my descent. Well, consider it like this, Daniel. You're taking the momentum of a dash, which, by the way, is the approximate speed of the quick foot chip right here. Maybe a little faster than that. Into a jump. So it can be fairly quick in certain sections. Does Megaman get told off by his Mega Mom? Oh my god, seriously? Yes. And yet again, a moment to love the Recoil Rod, because it deals with these specific tank enemies really, really quickly, and you don't need to worry about sudden mace syndrome. Ow. Woo! Dangerous. And now we got a mid-boss. This thing looks very intimidating. If you whack it a bunch, you can deal a bit of damage to it on occasions. Be careful. Again, I highly recommend carrying not just the electricity chip, because it staggers this guy and makes it a little easier and deals a little extra damage. Carry double jump. Because the moments where he kind of just charges to the left or right side, you can hang out in there, double jump, and make a safe return. Alternatively, if you're very good with your dash, you can maybe squeak by if you decide to use the Shadow Dash. Otherwise, you are going to need to topple his head using the Recoil Rod. It's almost like this game is designed around using the Recoil Rod more than any other weapon. Just a thought. You real quick. You. Good. Push you. All set. Now deal with this boss. Again, it's almost like this game is designed around the Recoil Rod. I just turned that thing into my bitch. I don't say that often, but holy crap. Some days I just forget how broken the Recoil Rod is when you know how to use it. No, honestly, it doesn't make it worse. Every single Mega Man Zero game has one weapon that kind of just likes to mess around with. In this game, it happens to be the Recoil Rod, because the big thing of this game is pushing! Pushing shit! And pushing Mega Man Zero to the limit. I almost got pushed to the limit. The limit of my untimely virtual existence. With Mega Man Zero 1, the appropriate weapon was the Triple Rod. To some extent. You could argue the Saber, because there was just a lot you could do with that in that game with the Saber, but even still. With Zero 2, it was, again, also pushing, but with a grappling hook. And there's that spike pit I mentioned. There's that spike pit I mentioned. There's that spike pit I mentioned. Within Zero 3, it's the Recoil Rod. Within Zero 4, it's the Zero Knuckle. A weapon so badass that you could steal opponent abilities with it. Kind of. Right, Tristan doesn't really matter all that much. So I guess we're dealing with what we've got. Tristan is a beefcake! He also has among the highest HP in the game, and some fairly hard-to-avoid attacks. Again, I recommend for boss fights, after you've obtained it, the Shadow Chip. At that, the beasties that are part of Tristiam's shoulder armor, they do have their own... They do take damage for the boss proper. So it might be a good idea to actually properly fight it like that. Bonk. Wait for it. Push him a little bit. Donk him. He can throw about a bunch of boxes, tackle into them. It can be very dangerous. Let's not do that. Again, Shadow Chip lets you phase through him if you think you're gonna get hit, and it's just generally a good option. By beating him, we get the Absorber Body Chip. This body chip is going to be one that you're going to be using anytime that you don't need an element. Well, I did explain, Daniel, the shoulder puppies that Tristiam's got take damage for him. So if I shank one of the shoulder puppies, then of course it's going to lead to his untimely virtual death too. But yeah, the Absorber Chip makes it so that we have super armor. Anytime we get hit, we won't get knocked back. And I just remembered which direction we need to go to take care of story. This one. Because Harpooya. If you remember, Harpooya kind of got fucked up by the giant robot. But Harpooya being Harpooya, hard Sun male. At that, maybe I should properly take care of all the chips that we've been collecting. Such, we could do that at Servo here. Some of them do contain some extra useful items like an auto-recover head chip, which I'll probably equip. Some of it is lore that you could just read. Some of it is Cyber Elves. Some of these Cyber Elves across the board can be very, very powerful allies. They can do such things as restore your HP, to allow you to erase bullets using your saber. And specifically within this game, something that you could do is equip a bunch of Cyber Elves as satellites. They do affect the Cyber Elf counter, however, so yeah, be careful with that. Any Cyber Elf with a satellite produces a passive effect when equipped to said satellite. They also orbit around you, which is kind of cute. But again, we're not going to be using them. There may be one or two Cyber Elves that I might consider using, but of course we'd need to feed them. Specifically, you, because you become a sub-tank. This one gives you 1-ups, such, I'm not sure if we'll need that. Realfie, however, is going to be one that we're definitely going to need to use. Because she's going to give us some extra HP to work with. A full 4 units. And then with that, we could also get another sub-tank. If I remember correctly, you can get 4 sub-tanks within this game. 2 of them are just hidden within stages, the other 2 are Cyber Elves. Take advantage of it, please. At that, if you ever miss any pickups, feel free to port back into the stages. There are quite a few different secrets that you can find if you decide to look around. No, let's not save on that one, because that's my A rank file. Oh, right, I need to... In a rare switch, we actually need to talk to CL. That way we can get a lore dump. The Elf Wars. Near the end of the Maverick Wars, many Cyber Elves were used. The period from this time until the end of the fighting was referred to as the Elf Wars as a result. In particular, the use of the gigantic elf known as the Dark Elf, and copies of this elf known as Baby Elves, to amplify the power of Reploids, while controlling said Reploids at will, made this the worst war in recorded history. While use of the Dark Elf brought the war to an end in 4 years, approximately 90% of all Reploids and 60% of all humans were wiped out. The technology used at this time. The technology of using Baby Elves to control Reploids. This must be what Vile is attempting to use again! And spoiler, it is. To the point that he's able to take control of the twins here, who are responsible for teleporting us places. They're Reploids, by the way, so yeah. Flashing light warning. But don't worry. Things look dire for the Resistance, but X has got our back. Of course, he can only help us temporarily, so we've got to head over to Sub-Arcadia to take care of the problem proper. In other words, the last 4 or 5 missions of the game. From this point onward, there are no other powers that you can obtain from having an A rank. So this would be where the all A rank run would end, if you could do it. Out of the powers you could obtain, one of the... If I remember correctly, 4 of them are specific shots that apply to your Buster when you fully charge it up. You can also gain Inten with this down slice that we've got, an up slice, which can be done by holding up an attack and hitting attack with the saber, Ow! Back. There's a spiral sword swing that you could do by holding the attack button in the air, and that's really, really useful. Egg! Thanks, Muffin. Actually, thinking about it, should probably have that jumbled up, just in case. There's a sword beam that you could do by holding down an attack on the ground. Ah! Thanks, Ox. Thank you for the distractions, the both of y'all. Ah. Ugh! Critical it! And of course, a stray shot on top of that. Thanks. You. Okay, sweet bye. Ooh, HP. And one of you. I forget what this contains. Okay, it's a disc. Woo! HP. And boss fight time. But not against Dr. Vile quite yet. This specific boss, if I remember correctly, is the Baby Elves. Round 2. They have about the same amount of HP, maybe 1 bar more. I'm not 100% certain. Yes. But again, you likely have Shadowfoot chip at this point, so that should make things a lot easier. Especially when they do their newer attacks, like this one. I think they also have this comet attack, too. There's also this. The Cyber Elves have no weakness, so don't worry about using an appropriate elemental chip or anything like that. Just go ham. And poof. First of 4 stages down. Let's do a quick save. Just in case, because I'm a paranoid biddy like that. And let's get to work. Todansva. hesitate to try and stalk as much health as I can to fill up my sub-tanks. I forgot just how many Mothams are around. Oh! I was expecting a health pickup up there, not a death pickup! And by the sound of it, I filled up one of those tanks. Good. Hey! I guess that's my punishment for dying in stupid ways! No! Yeah. Oh, and thanks for the fluid check, Muffin. Just noticed that. Thanks, Teanos. Also, hello. Welcome to Mega Man Zeroisms. To this day, some days I wonder whether Namgun was a mistake or not. Then it's moments like these when I realize, no, it was not. Ow. Okay, time for our boss rematches. Against Vile's Numbers. And of course, the very first one I end up fucking around with is Death Tans. Fucking Death Tans. Why? Granted, I have a little more HP this time around, but like it'll help. Yeep. Poke. Get hit on you. Donk. 3, 2, 1. Done! Fortunately, we do have Shadow Chip, so it's a little bit easier to phase through some attacks. But holy hell. Oh my, not again! Alright, taking another sippy. Thanks. Alright. I know it wasn't you, Muffin, it was Saya. Ah, right, you. Deathbat. If I remember correctly... Hey! Deathbat is... weak to ice. Oh my god. Stay put, you. Yep, weak to ice. Posture check. Thank you. Sitting up. Shank you. Shank you right in the poop hole. Careful. 3, 4. Wait for it. Done! Whew, that's 2. Because Mega Man Zero wanted to go out the edge, Daniel, you should know that by now. I'm pretty sure one of my ranks at this point was, and you pointed this out, Godspeed Edge Boy. Oh, and by the way, you know how we fought the original version of Inarabida with, like, a low water level? Yeah, now we gotta deal with the full water level. Pain. Pain. because it makes Inarabita's torpedo attack all that more annoying to dodge. Wrecked! Get Zuda bombed. And now, Blazing Blizzard. To which, electricity. Don't one. Oh my god. Stop it with that stupid Shakarn! Shank. I said stop it with that stupid Shakarn! Ah! Of course, Blazing Blizzard of all enemies is the one to take out a 1-up from me. What a jerk. But then again, out of all 8 of Bile's numbers, this guy is the one I tend to struggle with the most, specifically because I can never seem to predict his attacks. I know what their patterns are, but I can never figure out when he's using which attack. Slice. And we even get a little more energy for the sub-tank. That's our that's our second checkpoint this stage. And it's also one I get to mention. Shadow Chip lets you phase through these, scan gates. It's almost like there's yet another reason why, it's useful. On top of that, this is the only other section where I'd probably recommend the, Spike Chip, and even then, you don't necessarily need it. Because if you've been playing the game normally, you have double jump. I might be able to finish this, considering the rate in which I've been, ticking through it. We'll see. I wasn't expecting to go at this specific pace, honestly. I do have work in a couple hours, but considering this is the final boss rush, I think there's, like, 2 more parts of the game after this. I may be able to wrap it up immediately. Again, we'll see. It all depends on whether or not I'm able to clear this part of the game in 20 minutes. Or maybe even 40 minutes. Oh, right, gotta deal with the boss rush again, because I game overed. Bright side. Okay, first thing I want to take care of, actually. Reorganize my chips, so I can phase through some attacks. And before I die, death save action. Oh my god, I hate Mantisk. I hate Mantisk so much. I never know how to fight this guy. Him and Blazing Blizzard. Let's see. If I remember correctly, this one was double that. Three, four. Okay. Actually, if anything, this boss at least partially encourages you standing still. So I may be able to take advantage of the head recovery chip, at least a little bit. Get a unit of HP every so often. What the head recovery chip does is, for 8 seconds, I believe it's like 6 seconds of standing still, you get 1 HP. It doesn't sound like a lot, and it really isn't, but if you ever want to just, like, idle for a bunch of time and recover your HP in between fights, that's how you do it. There are more useful head chips. One of them is an auto charge, one of them is a fast charge chip. I would recommend those over any others, really. And I think this one is Inarabita. So let's see if I can tick out Inarabita quick. Ugh! Shite. I should have healed.